Welcome, welcome, welcome to another OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners post-game podcast powered by Riverwind Casino. My name is Brandon Drum here with Parker Thune. Ole Miss 34, Oklahoma 26.
That was about as dejected a welcome as I can recall.
And I did that because last time I was too energetic. So I went with dejected.
It fits. It's very fitting for the occasion.
Yeah, it was crap, man. Yeah, so yeah, man, I don't know, man. Like, I guess it just wasn't. They should have won the ball game. Like just straight up, they should have won the ball game, Parker. Like they should have won. They should have won.
I don't know if I would say that.
I'm gonna stand on that. They should have won the ball game. They handed Ole Miss the game. Handed them the game in the second half. Handed them the game. By doing what? Shooting themselves in the foot.
There were a lot of unforced errors, a lot of
like they have for the last 4 seasons. And I'm not talking about the hotel chain. Like, this is just I'm just gonna speak for the fans here. I'm about tired of it. About tired of the shooting of the foots. There's got to be some sort of. There has to be reasons why that continues to happen.
Well,
it
feels like Groundhog Day, doesn't it? Like, feels like every single time.
But there's always a cause and effect. You know what I mean?
Well, yes, but like big picture, it seems like every single time this program's right on the cusp of making the nation believe, not only making the fan base believe, but making the nation believe. Boom, there's a letdown.
Yeah. And it just. All right. Thank our sponsors before we get into this. Thank them.
Okay, Riverwind Casino, folks. That's our presenting sponsor here on the Under the Visor post-game podcast. It's been the OKC area's premier gaming destination for nearly 2 decades now, almost 3,000 electronic games, table games, bars, and dining options, plus the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time. Thanks also to Jana King, a proud partner of OU Athletics and the greatest team to ever clean, delivering spotless results from stadiums to any size business across the country. Check out which of their solutions is best for you or your business by going to janaking.com. That's JANIKING.com. And finally, folks, a word from Mando. Fall's here, football season, yard work, maybe even hunting trips. Staying fresh, it can be a challenge. That's why you need to hear about Mando whole body deodorant. From your pits to, well, everywhere else, Mando high performance odor control and sweat control actually lasts all day. It's not magic. It's science. Mando uses only premium ingredients like gentle mandelic acid to keep you fresh and dry, controlling both sweat and odor for 72 hours. It doesn't just mask odor, it prevents it. 100% of study participants experienced all-day odor protection. And Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like the mini body wash and the deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for our listeners, new customers are going to get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. Use code INSIDER at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Back to business.
All right. Okay. Before we dive into this, just let's do it like this. Like, let's talk offense first. Just positives, takeaways, bad, good, indifferent, all that type of stuff. I'm over here like writing down my positives and pros and cons right now. So
I mean, look, there is a reason why prior to the start of the season, I so regularly tried to draw the parallel between John Mateer and Dylan Gabriel. Because I think there was an unspoken expectation amongst the Oklahoma fan base that John Mateer would be the type of quarterback that would single-handedly win you football games. And to be honest, Brandon, I never really felt like that was a realistic expectation of Mateer. Mm-hmm. And I think what you saw today is evidence that John Mateer alone, he's not a good enough quarterback to win you games all by himself. It's going to take a team effort. You're going to have to play well around him because when push comes to shove, like he's not going to make every single play. He's not a superhuman. He's not a number one overall draft pick. He's a good college quarterback. Let's not get it twisted. John Mateer is a good college quarterback, but he is not the savior of the program. And he didn't play like it today, Brandon. He played
Yeah.
like what he is, which is a good college quarterback. And unfortunately, good college quarterbacks, yeah, they hit on some important throws. They also missed some important throws. And John Mateer missed some important throws today. Missed several throws that if he hits even one of them, I think the entire complexity of the game shifts quite drastically. But as it is, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't good enough to get Oklahoma a victory today. But by the same token, on the flip side of that coin, it shouldn't take 35 points to win a football game. It shouldn't take 35 points to win a football game like that, even against a team like Ole Miss. If this Oklahoma defense is / had been all that it is cracked up to be, all that we had believed it was, then John Mateer and the Oklahoma offense wouldn't have needed to go above and beyond to the lengths to which they would have had to go in order to win this football game for the Sooners. It was not a great day defensively for Oklahoma. They struggled to get off the field on third down. They tackled poorly. A lot of the issues that cropped up against Texas were a lot of the issues that cropped up in spurts against Texas were present for much longer stretches today.
Yeah. Just from offensive perspective, I just got positives here. Xavier Robinson needs to touch the ball more. Like he needs to look. I think Torrey Blaylock is going to be a really good player. I think Torrey Blaylock is a good player. I think he probably needs to run the ball 10, 12 times a game. I think until Torrey, it was much like Xavier last year. Like he just wasn't going to be a guy that could touch the ball 15, 20 times as a freshman and take over a game. There were going to be games that he had really good ones, just like Torrey has good ones, right? Like where it's just going to be his day. But I think overall, for what you do and what the SEC is right now, I think Xavier Robinson is probably the guy that needs the 15, 20 touches. Again, I think Torrey Blaylock needs the ball 10 to 12 times a game too. I think those two, said it over and over, like this is nothing new. Those are your best two backs.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you play those rough and rugged SEC defensive fronts, and you're going to play a tough one next week in Knoxville, that's where a player like Xavier Robinson, don't get me wrong, doesn't mean I don't think Torrey Blaylock's not going to have a good game against Tennessee, because I think there's a chance he does. I just think you have to go into it with the expectation that Xavier is going to be the guy to start. Does that make sense? Just because Torrey is young. Like, I think we're all looking at it because he's played so well that he's freshman, and we saw some freshman mistakes happen today.
To be honest, like, Brandon, I really don't think you have to overcomplicate the backfield equation, because when you look at it, like it is clear, like you said, your best two backs are Torrey Blaylock and Xavier Robinson.
Yeah.
I would say that MO going forward has to be give both of those guys a healthy dose of action.
Yeah, got it.
Early in the game.
Yep.
Figure out who's got the hot hand and ride the hot hand.
Yeah.
That may be Torrey Blaylock. It may be Xavier Robinson. I think what we've seen from those two guys indicates that there will be days where either one of them, and on certain days where both of them, has the hot hand.
Yeah. No, agreed. I just think we've seen over the last few weeks, like as good as Torrey Blaylock has been, like against Texas, we all walked away saying, why didn't X touch the ball more? He was getting in a groove. Why did they not continue to give him the ball? Like, it didn't make sense. And then as little as he touched the ball against South Carolina, he was still gaining chunks and chunks of yards when he got it. Because I don't know what it is about his running style. It's his patience. It's his burst when he reminds me of a bigger, faster, stronger Kennedy Brooks, where when he's in the game, it's like you're going to get 5 or 6 yards, man, because that's one, he falls forward every time falls forward. So, look, again, you can't overcomplicate it, but I just think you go into the next game with the idea of, yeah, cool. Xavier's probably going to be the guy that starts out. If Torrey gets the hot hand, rock with him. But I think you're going to give, just like you gave Torrey Blaylock the chance to start today and get hot, and then X came in and became the hot hand. I think it's flipped, just the other way around against Tennessee. Satania, positive on offense. Okay, we'll talk about the special team snafu because that was probably the biggest play of the game. Um, he's got to touch the ball. He's got to be targeted more than he is, and I think him and Deion Burks have to get more touches. I also think that it's almost like Matera's forgotten that there's a middle of the field. He throws to the sideline every time.
Hang
Like
on.
the middle of the
Yeah. No, you're right. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of action towards the sideline in the passing game. I do want to push back on one of your assertions there because I don't think it's the case that Isaiah Satania needs to be targeted more. He was targeted 12 times today. I think the issue, Brandon,
I'm talking about as a whole every game. There's games where he just doesn't get targeted. My point is that he was good today when he was targeted.
Like, has that really, like, first couple games of the season? Yes, first 2 games of the season, yes, but I don't think there's been an instance outside of those first 2 games where Satania has been anything less than the focal point of the passing game for Oklahoma.
I get it.
I think an issue right now is that Deion Burks and Giovanni Gibson aren't doing a whole heck of a lot, and there doesn't seem to be much of an inclination to rotate at wide receiver.
Well, they're open though. There's times where, and I can probably point to probably 3 or 4 plays where Giovanni Gibson was open, and either John Mateer he gets away from where he's looking so fast, like he gets impatient with the route development, or if it's like, and again, this is what I'm talking about with Satania. I'm watching Texas today. I watched Ole Miss today. Use the quick game as run game, outside run game, essentially. OU doesn't do a lot of that. They did a little bit. Kanik got a little pop screen that he turned into like 16, 17 yards. Like, I thought that was really cool. But those little things, they just aren't doing. And essentially, it creates matchup issues. It creates aggressive downhill play, which allows you to stretch the field later on. Everything is a chess piece. It's a move. And I think they do not use Satania with his speed, Burks with his speed out in space, and the quick game enough. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I don't see it. It's not happening. Maybe a couple of times, but I watch all these other teams do it. Every drive you're seeing 2 or 3 pop screens just to get 4 or 5 yards, quick yards. And every now and then you're going to pop a big play with those just because it's repetitive, right? And things are going to happen. Positive Foje on the offensive line. I thought Ryan Foje was good. I think you kind of disagree. I talked to a source just a second ago that thought he played pretty well. He wasn't great, but for the first time out for 2 days of just practicing right tackle, he was pretty good. Flip side, Michael Fasusi, yuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and I'm just going to quote the source. I asked him, just admitted that you heard the conversation. Fasusi lets plays drag in to the next play, and it hinders him. He is a freshman, and that is a freshman thing to do. I made a mistake. That was a holding call. I got a false start. I got beat, caused Mateer to have to scramble. And you see him make these back to back plays. And that's where a guy like, and you know what? Um, uh, Fabechi Wewu's talked about it before, how he's mature, but they have to talk to him constantly to make sure that he keeps his head straight, right? Like that's been a thing this year. And I thought it was the most prevalent in this game more than any other game. He wasn't great against Texas, but I thought today his mistakes were more magnified. Does that make sense? Because they came in such bad times,
Sure.
such bad times. And then the 4th and 2, just to end my pros and cons with the tends the
Just a very weird play. Like
right,
you,
but
you never go under center. You go under
right,
center there. And two wide receivers in Zion Kearney and Ivan Carrion that haven't been on the field a lot as of late are on the field for a crucial down.
yeah,
Look, I like Zion Kearney and I like Ivan Carrion. I think both those guys bring value to the table, but that's a very odd juncture to deploy them for literally the only time all day.
yeah. It was okay. So I'll just tell you what I was told because I asked a couple of people about this, and I got told the same thing by multiple people. Um, One was on the way home today, and just the other one was just a few minutes ago. But um, essentially, what happened was, the play clock, it got down low, and they had a formation, they had a shift set up that they thought was going to work, and because they had to call a timeout, they changed the play. And it's kind of a special play that you would use in a short yardage, kind of goal line, red zone type of situation, catching a team off guard. They thought that would be best since Ole Miss had already seen the shift. They'd already seen the formation. They were probably over on the sidelines preparing for it. And it's one of those things where, and I'll just say it, a couple of people I talked to said that was one of the plays that if they could go back, they would redo it and not overthink it because they thought they know that they overthought that situation at that point. And I'm just going to quote the person or one of the people that I talked to. He said, "Football's simple. Sometimes you overthink things and you end up overthinking yourself. When 4th and 2 is simple, you have Jaden Jackson and David Stone out there, you run behind them. You get X lined up and you run behind them. Plain and simple." And they said there are multiple people on the staff, offensive staff, that would take that play back if they could, which is understandable because it was such a pivotal point in the game. But I guess just big picture here, Jake Michaela got his ass kicked today multiple times. Multiple times. I know you saw it, Parker. I know you
There's
saw
one
it.
rep in particular that's making the rounds on Twitter.
Oh, is there? Is
Yes.
there?
Where
I
he
haven't
just
seen
basically
that.
gets walked straight back and thrown on his rear end.
Oh, that happened more than once.
See, I saw
I
it
want to
happen.
see
I
which
saw it
play it
happen the
is.
one time in real time. I
Yeah,
didn't catch that it happened multiple times. I
yeah.
don't.
He
I've
had,
said
he had
this.
a rough
I've mentioned
day.
this before. I really don't have a terribly good eye for offensive line play from my
You
vantage
you
point
have a
on
camera.
Saturdays.
You're looking through a
Yeah,
camera though. So
there's
it's
like that. That's the one thing I always walk away thinking. Okay, even if I do have an impression of some kind, I always got to watch the tape back
I
before I form a concrete impression.
right. Well, I don't think he was like overly like big picture bad. I think he got his ass kicked a couple of times in just like and because again, much like Fasusi, they were just in such big moments when it happened. And so it probably looked worse, but he was one of the reasons why OU ran the ball well, though. There were times where he was very dominant. I'll give Jake Mike. I give credit where credit's due. In the passing game, he got his butt kicked a few times. In the run game, he was pretty good, particularly in the second half. I will give him credit. Um, Tight ends suck at blocking again. I do not understand. They they ran the ball so well, Parker, spreading everybody out. Why did they go back to inline blocking tight ends and offset tight ends behind the tackle? I don't understand it, dude. I don't understand it. Help me out, man. Help me.
There was a
You
lot
got,
that just didn't add up today.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Defensively, what are your overall thoughts on the defense?
Man, they were on the field too much today.
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of their own fault because they couldn't get off the field on third down. I mean, and I'm sifting through the stat book here to find the exact factoid, but on third down, it felt like yeah, Ole Miss was 9 for 21 on third downs. So, not like an obscenely high conversion rate, but especially on some of those third and longs, man, where it's third and 8 or 10 or even longer than that. Felt like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a juncture where a defense of Oklahoma's caliber ought to get off the field, and for one reason or another, they didn't. Penalty or Trinidad Chambliss scramble or wide open receiver over the middle. It was more or less their own fault that they were on the field as much as they were. And of course, anytime you lose the time of possession battle as decisively as Oklahoma lost it, there's fault on both sides. It's on the offense as well as the defense. But the defense did themselves no favors in terms of their high snap count and time on the field today.
Yeah, look, positives, I said 14 tackles for losses. I thought that was, I mean, that's obviously a positive, right? And some of those, like we talked about in the offensive line being bad, and it magnified just because of the timing of when those things happened. I thought the TFLs for Oklahoma came at very big time. So it felt like OU was doing really good things, particularly versus the run game, right? I thought that was interesting. They on Trinidad Chambliss quite a bit. Unfortunately, and I'll get to the cons part. That's um it doesn't freaking matter if you don't wrap up and get him down in the backfield. Or if you don't have lane integrity when you're blitzing and you leave it wide open for him to take off and get a first down on a third and long. And we talked about it before the game. You got to get him into second and third and longs. And you want to know what? Oklahoma did that so much today, Parker. So much today. But on the flip side, as I said that, you also said you got to control the QB run game, right? And they didn't do that. BV joked about he runs just enough to piss you off. Oh, he ran enough to piss you off today. Not just enough, enough. Probably irritated the hell out of Brent Venables and his defensive staff. I thought, just from a perspective, I thought Kip Lewis played a pretty good game. I will say the linebackers, just again, I haven't rewatched the game, but this is just like my watch the game, took notes down. This is what I saw. Every time Chambliss would take off, every time they would get out of their hook zone position in whatever coverage they were in, whether it was 2, 3, 4, 1, which is man essentially. Um, they would get out of, even if they were playing rob, coming down, the safeties were playing robber. They would get out of position the very second Chambliss would start running, which in turn ruins your lane integrity and also allows there to be big gaping holes over the middle of the field that he took advantage of in that over that second level in between the third level of the defense all dang day, Parker. All day long. That was an issue. That was a major issue. Um, I thought that Lane Kiffin was super smart. He was doing the whole calling a play wait until it got down into the 15-second mark and all comms in their helmet to where OU couldn't communicate. And then they were signaling in a play. And then OU was having to re-signal in their checks on a whim. In the first half, that is what that look. And I think Ling knew that. This is why he's a genius, Parker. He knew it. He knew it wasn't going to be a whole game of him being able to do that. And he knew they had to connect and he knew they had to take advantage of it. And they did just that. And that's where that lead came from. Was Oklahoma couldn't adapt to that. They had to wait till they got in the locker room to fix it. Mm-hmm. And so that was an issue. I'll just say I thought Cortland Guillory played well, amazingly well, actually. I thought he was really good today. I thought he played well. I thought the interior of the defensive line played fairly well. Grayson Alton, David Stone, Dominique Williams, Jaden Jackson, obviously. R. Mason Thomas played fairly well. PJ made a couple of big plays. Danny Okoye, he played well. He was part of that roughing the passer that was just bullcrap is what it was. Heineke played well. He had some snafu issues, obviously, but he played well. Jacoby Johnson. And you said it, they were on the field too long. I mean, couldn't get off the field on third down. I think that's the biggest con you can think of. Just couldn't get off the field. So let's talk about the roughing the passer. What is roughing the passer now? Because it looks like if you touch the quarterback, it's roughing now. Like
soft call.
It's horrible.
Soft call. I mean,
horrible.
I think
quarterback dad. That was horrible.
I think the conversation that people are waiting on us to have, Brandon, because it's a very popular one across social media and on the message boards tonight, is do there need to be changes made after this loss? And I'll be completely forthcoming here. If you're looking for somebody to proclaim this entire regime a lost cause and advocate for burning it all down, I'm not that guy.
I'm not either.
To me, like there is a juncture at which it will be clear. Like if there does come a point at which Oklahoma needs to move on from Brent Venables or move on from DeMarco Murray or from Ben Arbuckle or whoever it is you want to fire, right? There's going to come a juncture at which that is undeniably the case. We all witnessed this last year with Seth Littrell, right? Like after the South Carolina game, it was obvious. Okay, like Seth Littrell has to go. Oklahoma has to make a change at offensive coordinator. We are not there yet with anything. And you don't get there, Brandon, after a one-possession loss to a top 10 team in the country. And look, if I'm just kind of focusing on the big picture here, and I'm zooming out, looking at this loss and what it means moving forward for Oklahoma. Did the Sooners play well today? Absolutely not. Do they have things they need to fix? Absolutely they do. But the more I've kind of dwelt on it, the more I just kind of feel like, Brandon, like this is life in the SEC, man. This is what happens in this league.
Yep.
You lose a tightly contested game to a very talented opponent because you just made a few too many mistakes. This is how it goes in the Southeastern Conference. And frankly, far be it from me. I know everybody right now, I shouldn't say everybody. There are certain people on the message boards and on social media that are forecasting doom upon the program in the month of November after this loss today. Oh, this team's going to finish 7-5, maybe even 6-6. It's over. Okay, like theoretically, yes, that's possible. But as I look at the greater landscape of the conference, Brandon, and I look at the rest of Oklahoma's schedule, for one thing, watching South Carolina come within a whisker of toppling Alabama today, watching Vanderbilt knock off Missouri, just to pick a couple examples. These are the types of games, these are the types of facts from which I form my opinion that I think to a certain extent you just chalk this loss up to the SEC experience, the experience of playing football in the SEC. You're going to lose games. You're going to lose games to marquee opponents. You will get outplayed and can get outplayed on any given Saturday by anyone in this league. And Oklahoma did get outplayed by Ole Miss today.
Yep.
And ultimately, that has no real bearing on how you come out the following week or the week thereafter. Look no further than the example of South Carolina. Oklahoma blew the doors off that South Carolina team in Columbia last week. Today, 7 days later, they had Alabama, number 4 Alabama, mighty Alabama, on the ropes and very nearly finished it off. Couldn't quite get it done. But that was a completely different South Carolina team than the team we saw the week previous. Similarly, last week when Oklahoma went there to Williams-Brice Stadium, that was a completely different Oklahoma team than the team we saw the week before that when they lost to Texas in the Cotton Bowl. And so as I look at the last 4 games of the regular season for Oklahoma, can I guarantee that they're going to win those 4 football games or 3 of them or 2 of them or even 1 of them? No, I cannot. What I can tell you, what we can objectively say about those 4 football games is that those are 4 very winnable football games for Oklahoma. Now, they're also highly losable because, again, we're talking about the SEC here. But Oklahoma is more than capable of going on the road and beating Tennessee. They are more than capable of going on the road and beating Alabama. That team is not infallible, even though I think they are the best of the 4 teams that Oklahoma has to play the rest of the way. And right now, there's really no reason why Oklahoma shouldn't beat Missouri sans Bo Pribula and LSU at Owen Field. Because Missouri's going to be rolling out a true freshman in Matt Zollers at the quarterback position. And I don't know if Brian Kelly survives the night in Baton Rouge at this rate. I'm watching this game between Texas A&M and LSU as we're rolling here on the podcast, and it is ugly. It is an ugly situation down there. And it may not be long before LSU is officially a rudderless ship. They kind of feel like a rudderless ship right now, but the rudder is still technically attached, and their head coach, Brian Kelly, I'm not sure how much longer it will be.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm never going to be a guy that screams fire, 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 and starts leading the crew out there with fire and brimstone, pitchforks going down to burn everybody's house down, burn the program down over being 6-2 right now in the SEC. You have to understand, like, you beat a top team, probably one of the top 20 teams in the country in Michigan, right? Earlier in the season. You obviously beat Auburn, which isn't, that doesn't look all great. But again, you went to South Carolina, as Parker astutely just said, that just made Alabama wet their britches. Wet their britches. And ended up coming away with an L in the last few seconds, which sucks. But they did everything possible to win that game after Oklahoma went into Columbia and absolutely torched them. So games aren't transit. Fans, and I think even we have to wrap around more so than in any other conference, the SEC, because it's so loaded with so many good teams. Games are not transitive. You don't know what team is going to show up any week. And that goes to the top. Even the undefeated teams right now, you don't know who's going to show up, because there's going to be a time or two before the season's over that Texas A&M struggles, that Alabama struggles again, that Georgia has another scare. I guarantee it. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen at a time when people are like, to them? Really? Why? Well, because everybody in the SEC is loaded with talent. You don't believe us? Go look at the NFL draft every year. All the way down to Kentucky, all the way down to Mississippi State. There's dudes getting drafted in the first and second round every year from those programs, or every few years at the very least. So, like, that's it's not the Big 12. And look, OU fans still, this is only year two, right? It's just year two in the SEC. They are so used to being, okay, you lost a game we weren't supposed to win, or lost a game we weren't supposed to lose, gonna run the table the rest of the time because you're playing a bunch of blah teams. You're essentially lining up and playing, and I don't want to belittle everybody in the Big 12 because I think there are some good teams in the Big 12. I don't know. You're lining up and playing. I mean, literally Arkansas State's type level teams, and I'm not trying to belittle the Big 12, Parker, but there's a lot of teams that are the equivalent of Arkansas State, of North Texas, of, I mean, hell, who's the worst? Oklahoma State. No offense, Oklahoma State. Like, you guys are awful. I mean, but there's a lot of teams like that. And that's what you play week in and week out in the Big 12. There's none of that in the SEC. Vanderbilt is a top 10 team, people. Welcome to 2025. It's changed. The world has changed. And I get it, from being a fan of a program that has watched your program just dominate year in and year out for a century, essentially. It's hard to wrap your head around. It really is. It's hard for us as media to wrap our head around, because we go in it thinking, oh, you should win this game because that's what we're used to seeing. No way they're going to lose two in a row, right? Well, guess what? They might this weekend in Knoxville. So it's just different. I'm not going to call for anybody's head yet. Now, if they go and they lose at Knoxville, if they go and they lose at Tuscaloosa, and let's say they struggle and win, I don't know that 7-5 is good enough, Parker. I just don't. Not after being 6-1. 8-4 may be pushing it. When you're 6-1, if you're 6-1, it doesn't. I don't care what the schedule is on the back end. Don't you expect to win at least win 9 games? At that point, shouldn't that be the expectation?
Yeah, yes, I think it should. I think once you get, and look, I'm not one of those that wants to drastically reshape expectations based on results, because I think we all figured, right, that Oklahoma was going to win the majority of their games on the front end of this schedule, because that's where the far more winnable games lay. But when you get to 6-1, yeah, I think it's certainly a reasonable expectation that you close the season 3-2.
Yep.
Which, again, like, if Oklahoma only goes 8-4, if at the end of the regular season they're only,
it's disappointing.
It's not going to feel super satisfying to the fan base. I think it's enough that Brent Venables is back for year 5, but I don't know that anybody's super enthused about it based on how the 2025 season would have concluded at that point.
With everything that we're hearing in the college football landscape right now, and I hate even talking about these hypotheticals because I'm not one that wants Brent Venables to ever lose his job. I don't. I think that's not good for the program. I think having long-term sustainability is good for the program. So I think getting in that cycle of every 4 years changing that's what got Texas in a pickle, to be honest, was doing that. So I'm not in that. I think that's a bad move. It's what got Nebraska where Nebraska is now. Like, you don't want to do that. And LSU, for that matter. They can't sustain success because they fire coaches in a heartbeat down there. Now they'll get a national title every now and then, but that comes at the cost of being 4-8 a couple of times too. Like it is what it is. 5-7. So, and I know that's not much better than 6-7. So you're gonna have some OU fans go, "I'll take the national title if it means 3, 6-7 seasons. I don't give a crap." Fair, fair. I understand that way of thinking as well. But my question is what we know of all the openings that are going to take place and the ones that we don't even know. It sounds and feels like it's going to be chaotic as hell come November and December, Parker. Like just chaotic as hell. If Oklahoma goes 2-4 to end the season.
That's why, in my mind, the way I've kind of figured it, especially after a 5-0 start, is if Oklahoma winds up 7-5, I don't know if Brent's back. I would think at that point that the majority of the fan base would be calling for his head. But frankly, I think as long as it's not 6-6, as long as Oklahoma doesn't lose their last 5 games of the season, regardless of if it gets tense, regardless of whether or not there's legitimate division amongst the fan base and the administration at season's end as to whether to go a different direction, unless it's undeniably, absolutely undeniably time to move on, might just see this thing through for another year because it's a bad year to be hiring a head football coach. It is a bad year. It is the worst year of the 21st century to be hiring a head football coach.
Competition is going to be steep, man.
Yes.
It's going to be steep. And that's why I asked it, like, what do you do? Like, just because it's going to be so chaotic, like, what do you do if you're Oklahoma? But you also don't want the program to take that other step down further to where it's going to be harder for the new staff to pull it out. No, did he? But like, I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot to weigh there. It's going to be, and here's the crazy part. And we haven't even brought this up. What athletic director is going to be making that move at that point? Because you don't even have an athletic director right now. I mean, you do, but he's essentially just a lame duck athletic director right now. So, like,
and that's not a pejorative, by the way, for those, like, that's the correct application of the term. He is a lame duck athletic director, i.e., he's on his way out.
Yeah, like, and we don't even talk about that anymore. That's how crazy this whole thing is. Like, the conversation of who the next athletic director is never gets brought up.
No. And I think
but that shows the stability of the athletic department too, by the way.
Yeah, well, and I also think it's just because the way that Oklahoma has kind of set up this whole process, it's been apparent that they're going to get through football season and then kind of shift their focus to finding the next athletic director.
For sure.
Not that there aren't conversations ongoing or that there's not work being done in that department, but the football season is the football season.
Correct.
And then once you can tie a bow on that, that's when you begin pursuing your next athletic director in earnest.
So back to the game. Oklahoma, what was the score? Was it a 2-point lead at this point for when Satania gets that punt? Were they up? Ole Miss up 2 at that point?
Ole Miss was up 31-26.
31-26.
The ensuing drive was where they kicked a field goal to make it 34-26.
Yep. So 31-26. You're going to get the ball at the for one, and I don't know why he did this earlier in the season. He's been so close to breaking these things. But if you go back and watch, there was a lane literally straight, and he's running it, but then he decides, I see somebody in front. He has a blocker there, and the blocker literally turns his back to the guy and seals him off and is like, just go ahead and run by me. I got it. If you go, you're gone. You're gone. Or at least gaining another 15 to 20 yards. Mm-hmm. Instead, he cuts back in, and I know why he jumped. If you go back and watch, you can see what he was seeing, why he jumped. But at the end of the day, he didn't need to jump, Parker. There was nothing to jump. What he thought was going to happen didn't happen. And it cost him. It cost him big. It almost cost him against Auburn. It cost him this time.
That was probably the singular most costly play of the game. And
Agreed.
it's not like, oh, you didn't lose the game today on one play. That was not the reason that they lost. But that was likely the most costly play of the day, because what you go from is you're down by 5 points. You've got a very short field. I don't know offhand where Satania would have been. It was around midfield that he was brought down.
It was about the
It was
50,
right around midfield. So you've got very favorable field position and a chance to take the lead with several minutes remaining in the football game. Instead, what happens is you turn the ball over to the opposition. They're allowed to then milk the clock and cap off the drive with a chip shot field goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you can do at that point is tie the game. It's impossible to take the lead. So that, I mean, the ESPN win probability metric is a fun tool that many folks have a lot of fun with. I would be willing to bet Oklahoma's win probability changed most drastically on that play today.
Do you want me to go see the win probability?
You don't have to. You don't have to. Somebody can fact check that while they're listening to the podcast. It's just, it's me speculating. I would imagine that is the case.
For sure. I mean, it was still a one possession game, but it felt bigger than that. You know,
because again, you can't take the lead anymore. Like you have to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie the game, and then you're putting the outcome back in the hands of Trinidad Chambliss. Mm-hmm. Whereas the outcome previously kind of lay in the hands of Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer. And then, if there was still a decent amount of time left on the clock after you pounded it into the end zone for a touchdown, then it was in the hands of your defense, which, if nothing else, has been really, really good at locking down in crunch time the last couple of years.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, because here's my idea. Okay, so Oklahoma gets the ball back. They're driving. There's probably a minute when the 3rd and 5 happens. There was like a minute 40 something left, right? I don't know why you don't run Xavier Robinson there. And I know you're wasting clock, because if you don't get it, the clock still goes, but you have 3 timeouts. If you're going to pass it like they did, whatever, you would like an easier pass, number one, and it is what it is. Mateer missed 2 wide open guys. 3rd and 5, Jaron Kanak. Jaron Kanak might have scored if he caught that pass, by the way.
Might have.
He could have turned up. Yeah, he had a foot on him and everything. He had a pretty good gap between him and the guy that was covering him. He probably would have cut upfield. He's fast enough. He may not have scored, but he would have got inside the 10, probably, at least. At least. Then you got the Deion Burke situation. Here's my deal. 4th and 5, about a minute, 42 minute, whatever, left on the clock. I kicked the field goal. And here's why. For one, you're going to have to kick if you go down and score and you get the 2-point conversion, you still have to kick a field goal to win, right? Right. Because you're down 8. If you don't get it, you still have to kick the field goal to win, right? Right. You gave them the ball in the 35. If you don't get the first down, you're still giving them the ball in the 35, because it's going to be an incomplete pass, most likely be the reason why you didn't get the first down on 4th and 5, right? Right. So why not kick a field goal? If you miss it, okay, you have your 3 timeouts still, and you can go do what you just did again, right? And try to score with horrible field position like you did. However, If you make the field goal, you're now within 5. You're probably kicking it through the end zone. Sandell did it all day, which means you have 3 timeouts. Kiffin isn't going to pass the ball, Parker. He's not going to let you save a timeout for your offensive possession. So why? Sandell has been money. You're within 5. You probably have better field position because you keep tackling Ole Miss in the backfield. Whoever had the ball, didn't matter. Every time they ran the ball in the second half, the majority of the time they were losing yards, Parker, trying to run the ball. And they did on that drive that before they punted for the OU's final possession. So why not? Why not kick a field goal and get better field position? I don't understand. Do I make sense?
So to be clear here,
I would have kicked the field goal is what I'm saying.
Kick the field goal on 4th and 5.
Yeah, so now you're down 5. You're down 5.
On Oklahoma's
the last scoring possession, you don't have to worry about going for 2. You just go down and score. You're not worried about any of that other crap.
Okay, well, here's why. I will tell you why. At that point, there was 1:30 left in the football game.
Correct.
1:30 left. It would have been a 48-yard field goal for Tate Sandell. So there's and I know Sandell's a good kicker.
But they got the ball there no matter what. You didn't get the first down, so they got the ball there regardless.
Well, yes, but
that's my point.
Yes. Okay. But obviously, like there was a chance Oklahoma was going to convert there on 4th down. But to me, like if it's a 1-possession game either way, right? If Oklahoma's going to need a touchdown either way, then essentially what you're banking on, if you kick the field goal there with 90 seconds left in the game, is you're banking on calling all 3 of your timeouts, forcing a 3-and-out from Ole Miss, and giving John Mateer and the Oklahoma offense the ball, having to go
with better field position
too, or the majority of it with no timeouts to score a touchdown.
Correct. They were going to get the ball. So let's say you make it. You kick the ball through it. They start instead of starting on the 35, you gain 15 yards plus whatever they did to go backwards. So you've probably gained 20 yards, 25 yards for them to punt further down the field. So you're getting the ball closer. So the play that X makes, right? And this is hindsight's 2020. I get it. This is hypothetical. X makes, you're now on the other side of the 50 on that point. You're calling a completely different game with you got the ball back with 1:10 left. And you would have had a shorter field. That's my point.
Yeah, best case scenario, you get the ball back with 1:10 left, but there's also the chance that you never get the ball back at all. And again, you need a touchdown either way. You're going to have to score that touchdown eventually.
You were always going to get the ball back. He was never going to pass the ball to go get a first down. I know that they could have got. I know they could have got the first down. I know.
Yeah, but with how the game had gone, were you willing to bank on that?
Yes, I was. I was. Jessica, I said they're going to get the ball back because they're going to run the ball, and OU has stuffed the run all second half. Yes, I did think that was going to happen. I did. I said it in the press box.
To me, it's a very different conversation if there are 4 minutes left in the football game. The fact that there were 90 seconds left in the football game, yeah, I think you go for that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. I don't, and I said I would have tried to kick field just because Sandell's been money. I would have kicked it, but it doesn't matter. They lost the game, and if they don't go down and score, you're losing by 8. You're losing by 5 instead of 8. So it is what it is at that point.
You go for it there. You're putting the game in the hands of John Mateer and your offense. If you kick the field goal there, a lot of things have to happen. First, Sandell has to make the kick. You have to trust your special teams. Then you have to trust your defense to hold serve. And then you have to trust John Mateer to take Oklahoma down the field with no timeouts to score a touchdown. There's so much more that has to be.
But they had to go down the field with no timeouts anyways. That was going to happen regardless. That's my point. They were going to have to go down.
That was because they didn't convert. Like, the goal there is to convert.
I understand. I understand. But I look, I didn't trust on them converting just because how the offense had gone in that situation. Just Mateer hadn't. I don't know. I thought maybe if they kick a field goal, there's more confidence to go down and try to drive again.
By the way, Mateer had an open receiver on that 4th and 5. I forget
He
who it
did.
was
He
underneath
did.
Gibson,
It was
but
Gibson. Correct.
no, it
You
wasn't
are
because
correct.
Gibson was the one that he overthrew there. He
No,
had
no, no. It was
somebody
Burke. It
coming
was
open under.
Burks. It was Burks. It was
That
Burks.
okay, there
It
you
was
go. Yeah,
Burks. It was
Burks.
Burks. It was Burks. Sorry. Yes, it was Burks. He overthrew Gibson. It was Burks that was. Yeah, I got a text right then. He's like, "Why doesn't he just take the easy pass to Burks?" Like, yeah, fair question. That was my brother. Like, I look. Yeah, at the end of the day, is what it is. All right, offensive MVP. Do we really need to have a debate on this?
I mean, there are two candidates. You take one, I'll take the other.
I'll take I'll take my neighbor, Zave Robinson.
And I will take
Literal
Isaiah
neighbor, by
Satania.
the way. Huh?
And I will take Isaiah Satania.
Fair enough. Yep. Both good, good options. Defensively, let me look here. So that's actually a tougher one. You know what?
I
It's
thought
really
Kip
not.
Lewis played really well.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Kip Lewis, because I even said here, and I said it earlier that I thought Kip Lewis was the best defensive player today. Yeah, Kip Lewis would be my pick. Who would you take if you were not going to take Kip Lewis? Would you take Heineke maybe or Cortland Guillory? Those are your two options.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the guy that clearly stood out was Kip Lewis.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's go
I
with
thought
that.
Taylor Wine played really well also.
He
He
played
plays
pretty
well
good.
every week, though. You've
Yep.
kind of come to expect that.
Yeah, I thought Kendall Daniels played fairly well
And
at
he did.
times.
He did too. He did
Yep.
too. He made some big
So,
plays.
yep. All right. Um, yeah. I mean, there's a lot going on. I do have to real quick um want to thank one of our sponsors before we go out here. It's SeatGeek. I know some of you are looking for tickets for any OU game. Maybe you're even looking for tickets for that professional team in Oklahoma City that continues to win night in and night out on the basketball team. Um, Maybe you are looking for concert tickets. Maybe you're looking for, I don't know, maybe a shoot, I don't know, any sort of ticket, maybe NFL tickets for Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. But here's what I will tell you. SeatGeek has it, which is why I want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors today, which is SeatGeek. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the number one ticketing app. There are over 70,000 listed events on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace for the Oklahoma Sooners as well. SeatGeek is not just a place to buy tickets, but it's also one to check to make sure you're getting a good deal on your purchase. If you're wondering if you're spending too much, they can tell you. SeatGeek has your back 100%, which is why they use a scale from 1 to 10 to make sure you know you're getting a good deal. Green dots mean good deal, red dots mean bad deal. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. After all of those cool features for SeatGeek, of course, we at OU Insider have a code for you guys. You can go to OU Insider for 10% off your next ticket price at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with your promo code OU Insider. Make sure you click on the link below in the description to download the app and have the OU Insider code automatically added to your account for later if you want to use it later, or you can use it now. I use SeatGeek all the time. I use it to go to Shane Gillis. I used it to go to Dave Chappelle. I used it for a few concerts earlier this year. I love the app. We got some really good floor seat deals at Shane Gillis because I used their app for the green dot, red dot. Saw that there was some pretty good deals on the floor, and I used it, which was awesome. So again, I want to give a shout out to SeatGeek. Thank you, SeatGeek. All right, Parker, Do you have anything else on your mind?
Hmm. Not right now. I need to sleep on it. Then maybe I'll have more on my mind, and we'll discuss further at ouinsider.com.
For sure, for sure. All right. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners post game podcast. Um, if you are not a member or subscribed right here at OU Insider, the YouTube channel, click, subscribe, or go to whatever podcasting platform you're listening to us on. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a 5 stars. It helps us out immensely. The more you guys subscribe, the better it is for us. We know, and we continue to put that content out for you over and over and over. If you're not subscribed to ouinsider.com, all you have to do is type in your URL code ouinsider.com. There is a green button that says join now. Boom, you click that, sends you to another page. You go over there where it says get the athletic and OU Insider on 3 on us, 2-for-1 deal, basically. Complimentary, whole year of the athletic. If you click that code right there, boom, it sends you over. You can sign up for $1 for the first week, and then you get OU Insider, and you get all the rest of On 3 as well, which is a really cool deal. If you want to go check out Missouri, if you want to go check out the Tennessee fans, if you want to go check out what Ole Miss people are saying about this past game, if you want to go to Texas A&M, Texas, whatever, we have all those sites. You can go check it out. You can go see what they're doing. All you have to do is go to ouinsider.com, sign up right now for $1 the first week, and you get the athletic complimentary on us for a whole year. You can do month to month with us. You can do a whole year. Whatever you want to do, we would love to have you join one of the fastest growing sites on 3. So thank you, Oklahoma fans. We thank you guys so much. All right. If you're a college student with an .edu, if you're a teacher with a teacher's account, email account, right? If you're active duty with the active duty military account, look, if you're .edu, and it doesn't matter where you go to school, send us an email, ouinsider@rivals.com. We will send all you guys a code back so that you get OU Insider for $1 a month for the next 3 months. That's, again, from your .edu if you're a college student, from a teacher's account if you're teacher preschool through 12th grade, from your teacher's account, and also from your active duty military account. We love our military people around here. Parker's wife is active duty. I am a retired vet. We love our military. We want to thank you guys, and that's our way of giving back to you all. So again, email us ouinsider@rivals.com from your .edu, your teacher's email account, or your active duty military account. We will send you a promo code back to make sure you get OU Insider for $1 a month for 3 months. That'll get you through all year, National Signing Day, essentially almost all the playoffs as well right now. So pretty cool deal. All right. For Parker Thune, my name is Brandon Drum. That's going to do it for this version of the OU Insider Under the Visor Sooners post-game podcast. Oklahoma, now 6-2, headed to Knoxville. We'll have you covered all week. Make sure you stay tuned right here or on ouinsider.com. You all guys have a blessed day.